Ed Altman, Professor of Finance at NYU Stern School of Business. Welcome to Super Investor 2014.
Thank you very much, Emma.
What are the main themes that we're seeing coming out, and what are the questions being asked about risk in the industry at the moment?
Well, interestingly enough, we're at a situation now where the question is another bubble building with respect to leverage and risk in the credit markets? And how similar is 2014 to what happened just prior to the last crisis around 2007? And so we'll be talking about that, and I've been doing a lot of research on that subject and thinking about that issue as well.
Do you think there is a bubble building, and what responsibility should people be taking about investing in the right way to make it more sustainable, if you like?
Yeah, I definitely think the bubble is a building. It's not ready to burst, and therefore nobody needs to worry about tomorrow having a problem like we had in '08. However, we must be aware that we can learn from history rather than thinking, as many people are saying, this time it's different. And it is somewhat different, and so there is a debatable issue here. But in my opinion, there are a number of factors now that clearly say we are looking more and more like 2007, and we must be aware of that to avoid another crisis.
Where would you like to see investments being made to sort of improve sustainability and to try to avoid the bubble, if you like?
Well, here's the problem. There's a lot of competition now, particularly in the private equity leveraged buyout sector. They've done well. Interest rates are very low. The ability to raise money is very easy, both debt and equity. And as a result, the prices are being bid up. That's what competition does. For example, there's a ratio called the purchase price multiple. That's the amount of money you pay per dollar of cash flow. And prior to the crisis in 2008, that ratio went as high as around 10 times. We are already approaching almost 11 times in 2014. Unprecedented number. And the amount of leverage as part of that is getting close to 6 times EBITDA. And when you get to 6 times EBITDA as an average, you are in very, very difficult waters. So how to avoid the problem would be either don't get involved in bidding more than 10 or 11 times cash flow. And if you do, make sure you have enough equity in the deal, even if interest rates are so tantalizing low that you lever up because of that low current situation.
Is the basic reason for this that it's been easy to pardon the pun, but go with the flow, if you like, and not go for the harder options?
Yes, it's been very easy to raise money, particularly from limited partners who see private equity as a nice alternative, especially with interest rates so low in the market, to put their money into safer investments. And also because it's easy to sell what you've bought to someone else because of all this liquidity. We call that the bigger fool theory. Somebody is going to be left holding the hot potato. And the hot potato might be when you pay 11, 12 times cash flow and you think, well, I'll just sell it to someone else at a higher multiple, and then that might not be there in the future. So I think the message now is we are at the top, I think, of a benign credit cycle. And the outlook is for that cycle to become more difficult, I think, starting in 2016 or 2017, a couple of years from now, 1 to 2 years from now. It may be too late to stop the process, especially since the ECB is ready to prime the pump by pumping liquidity into the system itself because of the lackluster growth of the countries. And that's going to make credit even easier and very enticing. And we have to be careful that the bubble is building and we're going to add to that bubble with this added liquidity.
Now, slightly away from the bubble, one of the areas and themes that seems to be coming up is measuring performance as well. And I know this is something that you've looked at. What's the best way to measure performance in this industry, and what would you like people to be looking for?
Well, that's a good question. It's not my specialty. I'm more looking at the risk rather than the return. And I highly admit that it's both that are very important, risk and return. So you can increase your return a lot by using other people's money rather than your own equity in the deals. And that is very attractive now because of the low interest rates. So I'm sure the returns have been really excellent, and that, of course, brings new money into the market. I saw the same thing happening in the mid and late 1980s. I know it's a long time ago. And so the industry grew dramatically, much smaller then than now, because of these high returns. And we're seeing the same thing now. Very high returns. I don't know the exact returns on equity, but I'm sure they're north of 15% for many firms. And as a result, this is both good news and bad news. It's good news to...
Yeah, because it lacks long-termism, if you like, the sort of a good return in that sense, but is there a sort of desire for the sustainability from that? If you're seeing a good return, it doesn't change habits, does it?
Yeah, sustainability is the issue, right? So we've got this short run, long run problem now. Short run, I think things are looking good, especially with the ECB pumping money into the system and interest rates remaining low. And because that, people are looking to put their money to work to gain higher returns. And so the money's flowing in, which means they have to be spent. And the enticement to spend it, even if the multiples are higher than they've ever been, is there. It takes a very disciplined investor to back off and say, no, these levels are crazy, even though it appears that I can sell to someone else next year at even higher multiples. But that bigger fool theory has proven to be very problematic in the past.
Interesting times ahead. Ed Altman, thank you so much for joining us and
My
giving
pleasure.
us your insights. Thank you.